How we doing? Oh, we got a new face in there, huh? How you doing? Emily, nice to meet you. Brian. So I'll get started just talking about the game this weekend. Thought it was a tough, hard-nosed win on the road in the division. They're always hard. As we mentioned last week, I thought the guys played hard and made a lot of plays, enough plays to win. Got a little hairy there at the end, but we were able to respond quickly and, just kind of play some complimentary football there to pull it out. Again, I thought we had contributions from a lot of guys who played well. And, it's hard to win on the road. It feels like we've been on the road for a while, so we'll be excited to get back to U.S. Bank in front of our fans, who I know will be loud and ready to go on Sunday against, another good opponent in the Cardinals. There's some teams you're not as familiar with. This is certainly one of them. So just, they got a really good roster. Obviously, we know Kyler Murray, but they got a lot of really good players offensively, and they do a lot of good things. So this will be a major, major challenge for us. We have to really have a good week of practice, good week of preparation. But our guys are, they're really, banding together. I thought we saw that on Saturday, just kind of leaning on each other, and just trying to fight to play as well as we can. So I'm excited about our group.
Hey, Brian, you talked about Caleb's mobility going into the game. Just curious, how did you evaluate the job your guys did trying to contain him, and then how similar or different is the task with Kyler Murray?
Yeah, I mean, he's a very good player. I mean, we mentioned it last week, and the QB mobility was a real thing. It's something we talked about. I thought we rushed him well and were in position on a lot of it. But he's a good player. Sometimes you got to tip your cap to, players like him. I thought they did a good job, really, offensively, putting a plan together. I think, T. Brown did a really nice job putting a plan together. And Caleb played well. And again, we had some free runners. We had some guys right on him. But he's an elusive player. He's got a knack for and this innate ability to kind of feel the rush. And, maybe sometimes he steps up, sometimes he spins out. You got to do a really good job of kind of keeping him in the pocket, but then getting him down is a whole nother, set of issues. And we got a similar player at the quarterback position this week in Kyler. So, we felt that last week. We'll make a couple adjustments. Again, we were in some good positions on some of those things, and we just got to finish the play. But, that's much easier said than done.
How much do those linebackers like Van Ginkel and Cashman that cover the kind of ground that they do help you with a quarterback like Williams and Murray?
Yeah, I mean, they certainly are fast and good tacklers and, do a really good job as spies and, cover a lot of ground, like as you mentioned. But it's really a total team. It's not going to be just one guy with a player like Kyler. It's everyone kind of handling their responsibility, doing their job from a rush awareness standpoint, from a, not, flying by the quarterback on some edge rushes, keeping them contained while still being aggressive. But everybody's got to go. You never know who it's going to be. But, certainly those guys, we try to put them in position where they're the guys who are in a chase mode. But these guys are fast, too, as we saw last week. And we just got to keep working, We got to keep working. We're at that time of the year where, we want to continue to build, really late in the season and just, try to be playing our best ball here at the end.
Brad, I know you're focused, obviously, on the defense, but if you paid any attention at all, what have you thought of the way that defenses have tried to limit Justin on the other side and just the attention that they've paid to him?
I think you got to earn the right for someone to pay that much attention to you. It speaks to the type of player you are. I know when we're on the other side of it against, a player of his caliber, it turns into an anyone but him situation. And how you want to go down, and if it's a one-on-one situation, regardless of who the your best guy is. That's a tough ask. So, look, he's a great player. I think at the end of the day, he'll probably be one of the best to ever do it. So, yeah, I mean, he's earned that right, but it's still a tough cover, and I'm certain anyone on the other side feels that and knows they got to pay a lot of attention, or he's going to hurt you.
How would you defend him? Would it be anybody but him?
Yeah, I'd probably put two guys on him, and just go down some other way. But we got a lot of other really good players, and that showed up the other day as well between Jordan and TJ, and Aaron Jones, and I think Sam's doing a great job of finding those guys. So it's hard. And then maybe in game you make an adjustment, and then you leave them one-on-one, and I think it's hard. I'll say that.
Well, why didn't Caleb Evans break through this season, do you think?
Caleb did a lot of really good things over the course of between last year and this year. It's a tough question to answer, in that we've got some between Murph and Stephon Gilmore and Shaq. Fabian stepped in and he's done a really nice job. It just sometimes it becomes a number situation, and I think he's a talented player. I think he's got a place in this league. I wish him all the best in Carolina. I think he's going to do a great job for them. But it's just kind of sometimes it's about timing and opportunity, and and unfortunately it didn't work out. But he did a lot of good things for us when he was here. I thought he played well. Last year when he got a lot more playing time, and he's had some ups and had some downs, and we had a good talk before we released him the other day, and he's in a good place. I think he's certainly learned a lot about himself as a player, things he needs to improve on. I know it's a sensitive kind of situation, but I try to be supportive and honest and direct about hey, and that's always the case. And I think he's got a place in this league for sure.
During the course of the season, the guys you mentioned have played pretty much cornerback the entire time, and I'm just curious, how you've sort of philosophically gone about deploying those guys, knowing that some of them are on the older side and some of them, it's a long season. You're hoping it's going to be even longer, and the balance between keeping your best players out there and having some young guys that are need some development.
Yeah, I mean, I think every team goes through that in some form or fashion. Wanting to play your best players, wanting to develop the young players. I think between DJ and the guys on our staff, there's constantly conversations about exactly that. And then you couple that with every game in this league's tight. So, you want your best guys out there. You don't know which play is going to be the play that's the difference between, winning and losing. So that's a tightrope that we all walk. I think a lot of the development shows up in practice. And when we see that, in practice, in meetings and walkthrough, that's normally the predictor that it's going to show up positively in games. So, and I thought of Caleb, and just to use him as an example, I thought he practiced well. It just turned into a kind of a how many snaps can we get to all three of those guys, four of those guys. We've got a few other guys in those similar situations, guys who have played well, but for one reason or another, haven't gotten as many snaps. Theo Jackson's a guy who pops up into my mind as somebody who's practiced well, made a lot of plays in kind of training camp and preseason. But there's some other guys there that are also playing well. So yeah, I mean it's not easy.
Brian, what did you see last year from Jonathan Bullard that made you want to bring him back, and just how valuable has he been to your success against the run?
Bull is, well, as a player, I mean, he's a great leader, plays to his strengths, which he's a very good run defender. Kind of resets the line of scrimmage really on a consistent basis. He's physical. He kind of leads the charge for as far as our physicality as a team, or as a defense, I should say. He's a smart player. He understands the system. He understands what we're trying to get done. And then he can kind of convey that message to younger players at all different positions. I think he's a guy who, you think of guys that they're just hanging out in the D-line room, but he's talking to O-linemen, he's talking to the quarterbacks, he's talking to, receivers, backers, everybody. So he's got, some real leadership qualities in him. And he's a good player. I'm glad we have him. I really am.
There have been a couple games where Pat Jones has kind of played inside. I just wonder what's gone into. Give me the strategy of what's gone into why you calling that route with him.
Yeah, I think my first answer was we're trying to get our best 11 on the field. It's situational also. He's a very good pass rusher. He can rush off the edge. We got some other edge rushers. Can we rush him inside? That's really what it kind of comes down to. Just kind of trying to get the best pass rush grouping out there. We've had a few different combinations there. Down and distance is a big part of it. Third and long versus third and short. But Pat's is another guy who's really worked his tail off to be better in really all those areas: run player, pass player, inside pass rusher, edge rusher, drops. I mean, he's done a really nice job across the board. So, yeah, I mean, just trying to get the best 11 out there. Play after play after play. Yeah, be my answer.
Bernard's back in overtime. Just what'd you think of the effort to fight through that, and then just his game as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, it was a phenomenal play. I think what I saw was he was double teamed. So my eyes then went, we didn't have much rush on the play, so my eyes went kind of down the field. And that looked like it was covered pretty good. So then it went back to the quarterback, and it was a great play. Just really strain and finish, and all the things we talk about as far as just continually doing everything we can. Never giving up on a play. I mean, you got two guys on you. It feels like there's no way he's going to get there, and he finds a way to the quarterback and gets him down on the biggest play of the game defensively for us, and kind of sparked our ability to get the ball back offensively and win the game. So incredible play. I mean, KO says it all the time. We need your best when our best is required. And he certainly showed up in a big situation, which he has really all year. So definitely happy to have him on our team.
Brian, have defense has gotten so complex that Justin's facing something different than what the great ones have always faced? Like, I mean, with Randy, they named a defense after what Tony did to deal with Randy, Tampa 2 and all that.
It's hard to say. I can't, sit here and say I've kind of studied exactly what teams are doing to him. But I see him making catches every week and, being productive on a weekly basis. And, I think that impact on the game, and this is, again, I haven't watched it, but when other guys are, having big performances, and you got a guy like him who's, taking a lot of the coverage, that's a major impact on the game, and I wouldn't I wouldn't downplay that. I would say that's works to our benefit in a lot of ways, especially when and again I haven't I'm not a guy who
I guess
studies that. Yeah.
the last great receiver that you faced, can you speak to like how you cover him compared to like maybe how when you first came in the league or what Belichick did, or I mean, we're acting like, too high safety, like it's a new thing, and it's really not. And I wonder if defenses are doing something even more differently than what they were doing 20 years ago.
I honestly don't know what exact defenses we're seeing offensively, but I would say we saw a really good receiving core this past weekend with DJ Moore and Keenan and Adunze, and I think we mixed the coverages, and I think everyone mixes coverages. I'd be shocked if it was all split safety is all we were seeing. I'd be shocked because if we know exactly what we're getting, then there's always something to beat every coverage. So, I think to me, when someone's getting that much attention, the other guy's got to show up, and that's certainly showed up this weekend, and then this is a new week. And the opponent has to sit there and say, hey, well, if we do this, then they're going to do this. And, you got to make decisions defensively on how you want to, attack an offensive system, play personnel, et cetera.
What do you think are the biggest differences for the Cardinals compared to when you saw them last year for the joint practices?
Kyler Murray. Yeah, I would say that's the major difference. Look, they're doing a great job.
Almost put, aside from him not participating.
Well, he's obviously a major piece to what they do offensively, but I think Drew's doing a great job over there. They don't turn it over. They don't have any negative runs. I should not any, but it's a very limited number of negative runs. There's not a lot of penalties, so they're not going backwards. They're going forward. They're in manageable third downs. They run the ball. They don't take a lot of sacks. I mean, they play very efficient offense, which is, that means we got to play efficient defense to deal with efficient offense. And Kyler's he's at the helm, and I think he's having a fantastic season. I really do. I think he's, really playing at a high level. I think he's, his combination of, speed, athleticism, arm strength, quarterback mobility is hard to defend. I think they've got, a few different styles to attack you, whether it's, 11 personnel, 12 personnel, 13 personnel. They mix the groupings. They're efficient in each grouping. I think they're doing a great job. This will be a big test for us. All right. Thank you, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday.